Hi guys, welcome back. I am so excited because today I am going to be diving back into the second solo of Comfortably Numb that Pink Floyd did at the Pulse Earls Court shows. And I did a video on this last week that absolutely blew my mind. It was my first time watching this performance. I know the song and I've heard the song a lot of times, but I've never seen him perform it like this before, and it absolutely blew my mind. If you haven't seen that one, I recommend you go check it out. It was the greatest guitar solo I think I've ever heard. So I have been listening to this all week since I watched that video. I have just been obsessed with listening to it over and over again and trying to understand it better and just feeling it. This is just an absolutely beautiful piece of music, and it has really awakened something in me with Pink Floyd. I'm all in now with them. I am going to be doing a much deeper dive into them and all of the albums and performances that I don't know of theirs. This is just the beginning. So in my last video, I didn't pause the solo. I just kind of let it play out, and I was really like speechless for the most part at the end of it. I did make some comments, but I didn't really get as deeply into it as I would like to. And I asked some of you if you would be interested in me doing a deeper dive on this second solo, and quite a few of you said you were interested. So here we are. I've been looking forward to doing this all week. So the way I would like to approach it is I would like to listen to the second solo in its entirety again. I just feel weird about getting right into like stopping and starting it and talking about it. Like, I just have such a reverence for what he does here that to me, it just feels appropriate to just listen to it through again without stopping it, and then like kind of getting myself in the right headspace and then getting back into it, and then kind of stopping and starting and talking about certain moments. So this is going to be a longer video, so this is for the music nerds like me that really enjoy poring over this stuff, and I understand if that's not for you, but this is what I do all the time. I'm just now recording myself doing it. So I'm really excited to have you guys on the journey with me, because this is the start of a deep love for me. I already know. All right, so let's just go. Let's listen to it, and we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll listen to it again. All right, here we go. want you to listen to this right here. Yeah. 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 Can you imagine? Can you imagine being there? Apparently, a lot of you guys were there, which blows my mind. That is so cool. How have you got on with the rest of your life after that? Honestly, wow. That is, like I said, I've been watching that and listening to that all week, and I still could sit here and just over and over and over again. But you guys have made me feel better about my music nerddom, because a lot of you seem to be into doing this like I am. So this is for you if you're into that kind of thing. I think that is just, it's just the best solo ever. I mean, okay, listen. I wish I had the expertise of somebody like Rick Beato. And I do think someday I will. I'm going to get there someday. I'm going to totally understand music theory. I'm going to be able to break this down the way I would like to with you guys. But I'm just not there yet. I'm like 5 years into learning piano, and I just got a teacher like this past year, and I've been taking it a lot more seriously and learning the music theory stuff. So my understanding on things is very basic, I think, but it has helped me put to words all of the feelings that I have when I listen to something like this that just blows my mind and soul open. So I'm gonna try to piece in a little bit of music theory, but I just want to say I'm not an expert. I am not going to be able to sit here and break down to you exactly why each piece of this hits the way that it does. But I'm going to try to meet somewhere in the middle of like an emotional understanding and what's going on musically. So I think one of the hallmarks of this solo, this entire piece really, is this push and pull that you have in the entire song and in this solo as well. But there is a constant tension and release that's happening here. And musically, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the verses of the song are in a minor key. They're in B minor. And then when we get to the chorus, we go to D major. So we're going from this like darker, more melancholic, more disturbing, like it's got a dark vibe to it, B minor, like especially so, like even more than some of the other minor keys in my opinion. It's really glum and depressing, but beautiful too at the same time. There's like a majesticness to it. So we're doing that in these verses where we're just kind of descending, walking down that scale. So you have this feeling of like you're just kind of being pulled into the void, like you're being pulled into the darkness, the pain. And then we go to the verse, we go to this bright D major sound, and we've got this much more pleasing, brighter sound now. And then we go back to the minor in the verse again. So we're going from minor to major, and these two keys, I think you could look at this as in being in the same, all in the same key, or you could look at it as being in two different keys, I think, because this is B minor and D major, and they are relative to each other. They are actually the same set of notes. So the only difference is just kind of the way that they are arranged and where you stop and start in that scale. So, but it does make a difference because the context of the arrangement of those notes really changes the vibe. But it's fascinating because it's as much of a push and pull as it is, and difference in sound. they have a relationship together, so you can very fluidly go back and forth. It's not total tension and like displeasing to the ear, if that makes sense. So not only do we have that happening for the push and pull, we also have that feeling in the dynamics in which David is playing this solo on the guitar. There is so much of a push and pull in the way that he is bending those strings and the volume in which he's playing and all of the different techniques that he is doing a lot. I mean, to me, there's like a constant David touch to every note that he is playing. Everything is shaped. Everything is him. And there's so much push and pull in the way that he's playing that guitar. You feel the tension and release of certain emotional moments. You also have a tension and release in this solo, in what the band is doing behind him. It's descending in that B minor scale the whole time, and he is a lot of times going up and down the scales. And so while the band is in the back kind of drifting down, he's at times pulling away from that and then going with them and then pulling away from that. There's so much of this like tension and release, and I think to me that is the like hallmark of what makes this so emotionally impactful. It's just so masterfully done. A lot of this stuff is subtle, but it's so effective. So I just want to start with the way that he goes into this solo. I think it's absolutely perfect. Like the way that he goes into it is just the most beautiful musical choices I've ever heard. This is going to be hard just to even know where to stop and start in this because it's just all so beautiful. The way he slides into that solo, I had to like figure some of this out on the piano because it was just so beautiful to me. But to me, what I'm hearing there is he's sliding down from an A to the D. So we're going from this kind of middle point of the two keys. Well, it's not a middle point of B, but it's somewhere. It's not the root of either of the scales. So we're going from A down to D. So it's got and D is the home of the key of D major. So we're starting in this like bright, more uplifting feeling again. But the way he just dives into it, it's so perfect because instead of just starting with that D, that slide down into it, I feel like it gives it so much more of a punch of like, we're coming down into this. So yes, it might feel happy in the beginning here, but it wasn't happy before this, and it might not be happy again. So it's like, let me just play that again. It's just so, it like blows my mind every time, just that beginning. yeah, let me keep going. That little riff right there. I think that is also a big hallmark of this piece. That little theme, if you will, phrase it gets me every time. Like, that's the part that I want to hear over and over and over again when I hear this. That's the place I want to keep going back to, and he keeps going back to it throughout this solo. You'll see there's different moments where he fits that little phrase in again and restates it. And to me, it feels like the theme of the solo in a way. Everything is woven to and from those moments where he does that phrase. That's the way I hear it, and that's what I love about it. There might be different moments for you, but I think there's something musically genius about what he's doing there. And I wish that I had the vocabulary and the knowledge to exactly explain why. But I think it has something to do with the push and pull, the way he's bending those notes, his use of the rhythm there too, and the fact that it's like bending and pulling back to that tonic. There's something. So there it's bending back down to B minor again. So we've already gone from starting at D, which could be like that D major thing, and then we go up, and then we go right back down to B again. Let's just go back to that again. Going up. Really soaring here. Down. So we're climbing, and there's like a heaving quality about that little bend that he does, and that little riff that he does there. It is like crying to me, where there's just this. It's a release. It's a tension and then a release, and it's just so. It's so good, and I just love every little moment where that little phrase comes back in, and I love that it's clearly thought out, this solo. This is not just him sliding up and down the blues scales and just like hammering off notes. This is a masterfully constructed, arranged solo that is very intentional. Kind of around that riff there, but doesn't do it. Another way that pushing and pulling shows up in this is in the rhythms that he's using. He is really tastefully moving and changing up the rhythm as he plays. It's not this just straight rhythm the whole time. He's starting on downbeats, he's starting on upbeats. There's a lot of space in his phrasing that I think is super, super, super effective. I think that sometimes the most beautiful music is so beautiful because of the silence between the notes too. It's not just all, an arrangement of beautiful notes. The space between those notes makes you feel it more, and it gives it room to breathe, and it gives you room to be emotionally affected. And there's so much of a push and pull with the rhythm too that he does. It just follows along with that theme so beautifully. And another thing that I'm noticing too that's giving, there's so much like contrast, is he plays this solo like all up and down the guitar. I mean, I think right here where we're about to go is like where he's going to go into the lower register of the guitar again. And so I love that we get that full emotional effect of like him hitting these low, deep, growling, just really powerful notes, to going all the way up and having that kind of squealing, crying, piercing, high note sound. He's just all over. Like this is just a masterclass in dynamics, I think. That's one of my favorite moments in the whole solo. I'm going to take that back. That is, man. Right here. I love that right there. That is so beautiful to me. I think that might have been one of the moments where it brought me to tears when I watched this originally. That there's just something so wistful and yearning about that little phrase there. Wow. And then I love, here, let me just show you what I mean. Over here. That little wistful thing that he does, and then he almost goes note for note into that little phrase from the beginning that I said was like the hallmark of, and like the most impactful phrase. He almost does that note for note, but he's kind of playing with it there. He's not bringing it all the way down to that B at first. He's playing with it back and forth. So you have this tension of, you've heard that before, so your ear wants it to go back down to that B and feel that like home sound, but he's pulling you away from it again and again and again. I love this right here too. Rhythm. I love this. I think, man, this is just so brilliant. I've seen so many guitar solos, and I don't know, man, like this one really feels perfect to me. The arrangement of it all is just so masterful, because you have these places in the solo where he is taking you on these journeys, and there's this push and this pull, and there's ascending and descending, and these heaving feelings, but then he contrasts that with these repeated phrases like that. That, like, and then him holding that over and over and over again, it gives your ear space and your soul space to like breathe, I think, instead of just hammering you with all these different notes. It gives you a minute to like understand what's happening. And I think it's so effective. I love that. I love that he knew exactly where to kind of ease off and give you something really funky to hold on to. Pause it there. One, so I can look at that image, and two, to talk about another thought that I have is that his tone, like, come on, his tone is the purest guitar tone I think I've ever heard. It's just so pure and just piercing and clean, and ooh, the way he bends the notes too, and the notes just kind of fall off into the air and have this like soaring quality. I realized in listening to this week that his voice has the same quality to me. Like when he sings in this song, his voice does the same thing, where he just kind of like throws the note out and just lets it just soar through the air, honestly. And his playing has the same quality, where he pings that note so precisely in the beginning of him playing the note, and then it just like falls off and just like floats around in your soul until he hits the next note. It's just, oh my God. Oh. The image of him standing there like this is truly one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Not to be hyperbolic, but the lighting behind him and just that image of him standing. Oh. Was again, that image of him standing, it's like he's in the darkness, but he's also in the light from behind him. It's such an effective, whoever thought of that lighting choice, brilliant, absolutely brilliant decision to do that. That honestly, that was a big piece into what made me cry listening to this the last time, of how it accentuated what's really going on thematically in the song too. I just had a thought too of like, I've been talking about this push and pull that's just constantly happening. I think another thing that really drives that home is his stillness on the stage. He is standing so still. He's not really looking out into the crowd. He's not dancing. He's not really doing anything but just, he is one with that guitar. And it feels like a very private moment to be watching, honestly. It feels so intimate. And that stillness of him standing there like that as he's creating this just symphony of push and pull, that there's something there about the contrast of that just strikes me right in the soul. It is so profound. So profound. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. This part right here, this is another one of my favorite parts of the entire solo. This sound that he's creating here, I don't know exactly what's happening. It sounds like some kind of harmonic thing that he's doing and bending notes, but like the emotional impact of the sound he's creating is so huge. It strikes me as like an air raid, like a siren sound, like a doom, like the siren that you hear when the world is about to end. Like, and then I think that is, you know, that is kind of intentional because the lighting kind of follows that feeling, because it's like kind of this like red and blue flashing thing, almost like a police or emergency type feeling, where it just this feeling that is created here is just, man, I don't know that I can put it totally into words. It's devastating. It's really devastating. I mean, he is really, this is to me like the part where he is really just agonizingly weeping. I just absolutely love watching him in that part, like where he is kind of coming alive for the first time, where you can see him making expressions and moving around. How he's kind of rocking back and forth with that guitar in his own world still is just absolutely beautiful to me. Oh, this is like the moment where I fell in love with him, I think, because it's just sitting watching, what a joy to be able to see him in this moment. Like I said, it feels like such an intimate, private thing that's happening, but at the same time, it's like the biggest sound you've ever heard. Like, I cannot imagine being in this audience. It sounds, I've seen people say that their concerts were in quadraphonic sound. I don't even know what that means, but I'll be honest with you. But it seems like there's just such this like clean, clear, really, really loud sound system here, and that this would just be like, I would be dead if I was here. I would just be ascending into heaven. It's so profound. Wow, what a journey he takes you on here. This guy, I love this guy. I am so excited. This truly created a deep obsession for me that I cannot wait to get started on. I am going to be diving so deep into Pink Floyd and David Gilmour's solo stuff, because that is some of the finest guitar playing I've ever heard, technically and emotionally, and the way he performed it. It's just, there's nothing that I would want to change about it. It's just perfect. So thank you guys for listening with me. This was so much fun. Like I said, I really looked forward to doing this all week. And this has just been a joy. I would like to do more videos like this. If you guys enjoy this, let me know, and we can try to do some more deeper dives, because this is what I like to do. I like to pour over the details of something that I get obsessed with, and I see that there's some other people out there like me, so I'd love to go on the journey with you. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.